Right, everyone, welcome. Today I just want to speak about psychology in trading, especially with the binary options. Just for 5 minutes. I think it will be very valuable. And whilst I speak about it, I'm just going to be taking some trades completely randomly, just off of my raw analysis and see how much we can possibly grow this to. So, yeah, let's speak about psychology. So, psychology in trading is probably one of the most spoken about topics in trading. And the reason for that is every single strategy can work, right? There's a lot of strategies out there that are profitable, right? That are profitable over the long term. But what causes these strategies to not be profitable and reflect profit for traders is their psychology. But how can we dissect the psychology? So the psychology, and if we were to dissect it, it basically comes down to emotions, right? Psychology in trading comes down to emotions, the impulsive behaviors, the struggles that many traders go through, whether they're experiencing that euphoria or whether they are experiencing complete distrust in their own strategy, a lack of faith, frustration. There's these swings of emotions, right? So if we were to almost establish it on how it would look on a graph, right? It would be something like this: the highs and the lows of trading, right? So something that I always like to speak about is the Dunning-Kruger. I've done it before, where you're trading at first, you hit this peak, and you're really, really excited, really, really happy that you're making money. But then it gets dumped, and then you hit despair, you hit frustration, and it's just that complete swing of emotions. But how do we control and improve this psychology and these emotions? Well, it's very simple. As a trader, your goal should be to treat everything as a system, right? Treat everything as a system. From the moment you open your laptop, your phone, your trading software, your pocket option, treat everything as a system, one by one, right? If you think of a phone, if you think of a computer, if you think of an app, if you think of a system, they are all systems. How they run is off of a system without emotion, right? How do we decipher and uncover this whole problem of psychology? It is literally the emotions that you're struggling with. How do you get rid of those emotions? You detach yourself from any sort of money. I know this is a demo balance, but you detach yourself from any sort of money and you treat each and every single trade, whether it's your setup, whether it's your strategy, as a system. When you treat it as a system, you will take it one step at a time. You will get from one point to the next, almost like a ladder. This is your first checklist, your second checklist, your third, and then you win your trade. And then you move on. It is literally as simple as that. We don't have to overcomplicate emotions. We don't have to overcomplicate the psychology of trading, because it all comes down to one thing, which is the system. If you can master the system, you will master the profits. I always like to think of it like this. This is the number of times you fully and accurately execute your system, and this is your profit. And it will tend to go like this, right? It will grow constantly, because the more and more times you continue to grow and understand and consistently execute your system, which is, okay, I'm looking for this. When this happens, I take the trade. And then I win or I lose, but that's fine. The more and more you execute this, the more and more money you make. This goes as far as knowing when to enter, knowing what your setup is, knowing exactly when to trade, when to get out, because this would obviously come down to risk management, right? Risk management. The risk management will tell you that, okay, even though you lost this, in the long run, you will make money, because you know you're going to be operating under a system that guarantees that profit. So what is even the point of getting emotional and having this imbalance of psychology in your trading? It comes down to a system where you know exactly how to execute it, you know your risk management, and you execute it over and over and over on a consistent basis, which will bring you profit. That is the basics of trading. Understand the system, put it all together. You will never have to worry about psychology in trading ever again.